previously on the Spielman and Hooley Recap Life podcast.
That I'm a kingmaker. I'll never be the king.
Nope.
I'll never be the star of
Nope.
the show. But apparently I lift everybody up.
Yep.
I, of course, am the main reason.
All you do is give.
I'm, of course, the main reason why Sean McDonough, not anything to do with his talent, got Monday Night Football.
Of course.
What else would you like to accomplish?
No, it's not what I accomplish.
No. Well, I mean,
For you?
as behind the scenes. I mean, now that you've given us a stunning garage door, you've made us kings of the garage door.
I'm going to make it look like an accident, but I'm going to ram my car through that front putrid door of yours that is absolutely horrendous.
Well, I'd be okay with that. Because it is horrendous. I have people now telling me on the podcast, hey, we need a picture of the front door.
It's just, you might have to, it's just a hospital green front door, and it doesn't, I get the girls wanting that color.
It's a happy color, they say.
That's not a happy color. It's depressing, just like
it is.
me.
It's like, here comes my nurse to take my blood pressure at 4 a.m.
So you and I have had this conversation before, and I need advice.
Okay.
Since I have made you king of all radio in Columbus, drive time radio.
You have?
Not yet. We haven't gotten there. Are you
Not
number one yet?
Quite yet. Not yet. No, not after a week. I'm not. I don't
That's
think.
surprising. Let's start picking it up.
I know. I'm slacking.
So I was thinking, and I want to see if you remember this conversation. And I think it was right when I kind of got out of football and was getting into radio. And Bruce, I'm having trouble with being a fan. I can't take it. It's awful.
I do
It's
remember.
the worst. This is the worst. I cannot watch the Vikings anymore. I'm done. D-U-N. Done. As Tom Brennan would say.
He'll make a second appearance in the podcast today with Philip Rivers.
No, I'm just...
Philip Rivers, D-U-N. Done.
What happened?
Oh, he's awful. He's awful.
I'll see him next week against your Bengals.
Okay, well, he won't be awful against
Well, here's
them.
my thing. I just... They break your heart, and there's nothing you can do. At least as a player. And I have sleepless nights. At least I know, okay, I can go back to work and try to correct the wrongs and make sure that doesn't happen again, or I can play better, or I can do this. There's some control. As a fan, there's zero. Zero. I have nothing.
Nope.
I sit there in anguish and thinking of my brother, and people that don't know, Rick is my only brother, so we have a
very tight,
very
tight
unique and close and tight bond. It's almost like twins type thing where I feel every emotion. Now, thank goodness he signed an extension as the Vikings are off to a roaring 1-4 start. Ooh. I don't know if that means anything, but if he gets fired, which I don't think he will, but if he did, at least he's getting paid. But they just keep throwing games away. They threw the Titans game away. I mean, literally losing games, and it's exhausting. And so I need advice. You're back on the Browns bandwagon.
No, I'm cautious now. I'm still cautious because they got rolled by the Ravens in the season opener. Now they're going to Pittsburgh, and that's going to be a barometer. So it's like, okay, really good team on the road. Let's see what you can do. Really good team on the road. Yeah. Now they did beat Indy, and that was impressive. But Philip Rivers really helped them. And I just want to see what it looks like after Sunday in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and Indy's a really pretty good team.
Good defensive team.
And they're good offense. He just had he had an off day.
They've been having trouble, according to Adam Archuleta and whoever Adam's partner is, I forget. They've had trouble getting a downfield passing game. That was the element they were lacking against the Browns. Jonathan Taylor's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, he's pretty good.
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, leading rusher in the Big Ten for a lot of years.
3 straight years, yeah.
So, anyway, I'm renouncing my fandom.
I don't know chapter and verse what happened yesterday to Rick's squad. What happened?
Beat by the Seahawks last night again.
Oh, that was Russell Wilson's great last second drive.
Of course, yes.
Okay, yeah. And the Seahawks are 5-0, so they've done that to everybody, but that's unfortunate.
They're 5-0 because of Russell Wilson.
Yes, they are.
Without Russell Wilson, they're a mediocre team. So that goes to show you the importance of getting that guy and the difficulty of finding that guy. And I do believe the Browns have that guy for what they have around him. And he's playing really well. And I'm really impressed with both Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, and because they're winning, right? And so everybody's happy and they're not complaining about getting the ball. They just have to stay that course, right? It's all about the team because great things could be happening. They have a really good offensive line.
They do.
I mean, a really good offensive line. And people either love Baker or hate Baker. There's no in between with him. I happen to think he is great for what they're trying to do with that offense. He's a better Case Keenum, and so we know what Case Keenum was able to do with a pretty good offense with the Vikings. He's better than Case, obviously. So anyway,
he was in the first half, not in the second, but he was in the first half.
Okay, all right.
2 of 9 for 19 yards and 2 picks in the second half.
I get that. I understand. But the bottom line is they win
They did.
the game.
Good teams, though, don't need their quarterback to put them in that kind of situation.
And good teams also, when their quarterback does put them in that situation, find a way to still win.
They did.
So that's a good team. So let's give the Browns a little bit of credit.
I'm just cautious till I see what happens.
I know. I
Sunday.
understand because you've been. How many times have you been burned by them?
Well,
like
see.
you've
They
come
came back in
right?
'99. They made the playoffs once, so.
But you came back with them, didn't you? After you took the walk.
I did not come back with them immediately because I knew they were an expansion team and they would just lose a lot. But once Butch Davis got there, I came back.
Okay.
I've
Then
been
what happened?
broken-hearted ever since. He had a nervous breakdown, and only mirrored my own, giving them the place of prominence in my heart. Yes.
Did the SEC take some Big 12 pills?
Wow, they must have. I watched that Alabama-Mississippi game. That's awful.
It is.
They couldn't stop Mississippi at all.
No.
I don't think that's just Lane Kiffin knowing what Nick Saban hates to try to play defense against. That one was 63-48. Mississippi had 647 yards of offense and lost.
I know.
Bama was amazing on offense too with Najee Harris and Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle. They got players on offense, but it seems like the SEC can't play any defense either.
No, Missouri, LSU.
Boy, Clemson can play defense. Man, did they shut Miami down.
And Clemson's a good team.
Clemson's really good. Travis Etienne. Oh, wow, is Travis Etienne good.
They're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, they are. They're getting better on defense. Their corners were spectacular on Saturday night.
All right, athletes, man. All right, I'm sorry. I
Chris,
just had to get that off. I had to get that off.
Back from the Meadowlands, where you watched Kyler Murray and the Cardinals beat the Jets. You got a chance to say hi to your friend Dave Pash. And
I did not. Dave is in Arizona broadcasting the game from their radio.
Oh, really? They don't come to the road games?
Visiting radio and doesn't travel.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, sorry about that. But you got a chance to fall a little bit deeper in love with Kyler Murray, did you?
I love Kyler Murray. He would play bad the past 2 weeks, and their offense was much better. And I'm thinking that if you need to get healthy mentally for a football team, the Jets are the antidote.
They're the answer, man. No, did
bad.
Le'Veon Bell trouble himself to play? I saw he was cleared.
Yeah, he played hard.
Okay.
It's just they're not good. They have a lot of people hurt, and the guys that they do have, they're just not a very good football team. They're just not good. And Kyler Murray was running the ball and throwing it like he was supposed to. They took some shots downfield. Chase Edmonds, who people don't know about, I like Chase Edmonds last year over David Johnson. Do you remember Chase Edmonds, being a Cardinal fan that you are?
I don't. I remember David Johnson.
Running back out of Fordham. Can't afford him. Can you?
There you go.
I heard that on King of Queens with that obscure favorite sitcom reference. I think the other thing with, and then, the one thing I've noticed, and this is why I love 2 running back systems, and you see this when Chubb was healthy and Kareem Hunt, when you see one guy get going and you get your second chance, that other guy really gets it going. Like Kenyon Drake yesterday, who was a fine running back for the Cardinals.
Great pickup by them.
And I think this can apply to all sorts of businesses too, right? I just really I believe in competition so much. And not saying somebody's better than you, but trying to live up to everybody and competing. And there's nothing wrong with competition. I think as a society, I really do. We've tried to eliminate so much competition in this world that we soften ourselves in a lot of ways that we live and compete and work and all that stuff, because it's just, competition in some places is considered bad, when I think it's the root of growth to me.
No doubt.
So to get back to my point, Chase Edmonds gets in there, gets going. Kenyon Drake, who was struggling, he got in there, he changed his whole running style. And I was pointing this out because when he was in there first, he was going east-west, trying to get outside, make people miss. Then I made a comment, hey, 29 is playing pretty well. You get your shot, buddy. I'd start advising, one cut and hit it.
Hit it up in there,
and
yeah.
boy, did he do that. It was fun to see and gratifying as an analyst because you know, I don't know these things for sure, but after years of experience and talking to players, I know the mindset of what I would do or what a lot of former competitors of mine would do.
Yeah, well, that's when it's fun to do what you do on your own grading scale.
Well,
you were asking me before we started this morning about how my show on 98.9 is going, and I told you that, you know, it's fine. I just feel like I know there's a rhythm out there that I haven't hit yet, and as somebody who does this, we evaluate little nuances of our own performance that other people don't really catch.
Or no, right.
Yeah.
The other one was talk about evaluating your own performance. And I evaluate when I do bad and make a mistake. Last week I had a Cardinals game. I called Kyler Murphy one time, which irritates the heck out of me, but made the correction. And that's another thing that I do, and I think some announcers don't like it. Some announcers do. Like if I mispronounce a name or make a mistake, I want either somebody in the truck or my partner to correct the mistake.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that.
Mm-hmm.
But a gratifying moment for me was the Cardinals' first time in the red zone. I said, Kyler Murray's going to run the ball. He's most effective running the ball in short yardage from goal line. Sure enough, zone read, tucks it and goes.
Yeah, I saw that touchdown.
And you just have to. For the Jets, you have to. I don't know why they're not thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But New Jersey's a different place. Everybody outside masked
really?
up. Everybody outside.
That's mandatory?
No, it's
okay.
just
their mindset. Okay.
Just the different mindsets in different parts of the country. Now I'm going to Indy this week, and I know they're supposed to have 12,000 people at the game. So
interesting. Welcome to an October 12th edition of We Tackle Life podcast. We'll get into the Browns a little bit more. Andy Dalton's going to get his shot in Dallas. That was very unfortunate and gruesome for Dak Prescott. Bengals got run on the road at Baltimore. And we'll talk a bit more college football as well. A reminder, first of all, this is open enrollment time. Chris was talking about competition and how we minimize it some. Don't minimize it when it comes to picking your health insurance. Let AUI Info give you all the breakdown on who's best for you. Not everybody's health insurance is the same, and not everybody's health insurance should be the same. Some are stronger with, early child wellness and things like that. Some stronger at, when you get in your 50s and 60s. Chrissy and the AUI team know all the ins and outs, know all the doctors, the co-pays, the hospitals, the coverage you want, balanced against the cost. Anyone in Ohio can be helped by AUI. You're already paying for a health insurance consultant, whether you get it on healthcare.gov or wherever, but AUI, they get paid by the health insurance company, so avail yourself of their expertise. It is free to you, auiinfo.com. Man, I hated to watch that Dak Prescott thing. Football's a physical game. We sometimes forget that it is. We've seen it with Joe Theismann. We've seen it with Nick Mullins at Mississippi State. We've seen it with lots and lots of people. And
Alex
Smith. Saw it in the NBA with Gordon Hayward. Those gruesome injuries. And Dak had surgery last night. Dislocated ankle and compound fracture. And now it's Andy Dalton's show in Dallas.
Red Rifle. Return.
He's got weapons on offense.
He does. And that goes to show you the important investment a backup quarterback is. Because of the nature of the game, and we all know the brutality of the game. I think that's something that we, at the same time, both love and hate, right? It's a love-hate relationship. To me, it is.
Yeah.
I hate seeing players get hurt. It didn't bother me when I was playing because maybe just because I was used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But announcing now, when I see guys get hurt in the games that I do, I hate it because I know what they're going through. The other thing that bothers me, and I don't know if I can say this out loud, but I'm going to.
Well,
I'll take a shot.
Got a good gig at Fox. Think about it.
No, it's simple. I just, I had it's in the book, so I've already publicly stated it.
Okay.
That if a guy gets like nicked and they lay on the field and the trainers come running out, then the guy sprints off the field.
Yeah.
He's back in 2 plays later. Is that wrong that bothers me so much?
That's the Paul Pierce miraculous recovery. Taking off the cord on a wheelchair and then runs back in. That's the ultimate. Yeah. I mean, I suppose you could get the wind knocked out of you or something and
had the wind knocked out of me many times.
Yeah.
I never took a knee. You never got me down.
There you go. There you
never
go.
got me down.
Never got me down, right?
You know what that movie is.
Raging Bull.
Thank you very much.
Yes, exactly.
Very good, sir.
The Bengals yesterday, speaking of Raging Bulls, the Ravens were coming after them like the Bulls in Pamplona. Joe Burrow sacked 7 times, hit 14 times. Bengals offensive line's terrible. He holds it too long.
Yeah, he's got to learn to
Get rid of the ball, Joe Burrow.
I think he's going to. I mean,
Man.
for his own personal safety. And if the Bengals want to protect the investment in a guy that's going to be a pretty good player in the future when it's all said and done, you've got to get rid of the football. And it's not like college. And you're not going to be able to, percentages are that you're going to get hurt. I don't want to sit here and say he's going to get hurt, but that's just the reality of the situation.
Yes, it is.
So I'll get to see the Bengals this week against the Colts, so I'm excited about that, and we'll see. I'm excited to see him play. I really am. I haven't watched him closely. I watched him a couple games. Watched him against the Browns. I watched him on film one game, but I was looking at the other team, so I wasn't paying that much attention. I'll have a good hard look at the Bengals by Wednesday's podcast, so I'll be able to break it down pretty good for you on where they're good and where they need to get better.
You will not see DJ Reader. He looks like he's out for the year. Their big free agent signing. Defense actually played okay. People are saying they played well. I'm not going to say he played well when you gave up 27 points. 17 early.
Yeah.
But when, Lamar Jackson 180 passing, 3 rushing, so they did do some good things defensively. Jesse Bates is really good. I'll be interested to see what you think of Jesse Bates after you watch him.
Yeah, he's overall he's pretty good. I've seen him play really well at times and seen him not so well, but I think for the most part, yeah, he's a good player. I believe he was a second-round draft pick out of Wake Forest, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to the seeing that team as a whole. I don't know, what's AJ Green? Is he still playing for the Bengals? Or?
Well, he was out there for the first half. Then he was sitting on the sidelines with a hamstring injury that apparently goes back to training camp. And he was seen on the sidelines talking, and it sure looked like he said, "Just trade me." That was the minor league lip readers. Just trade me. In other words,
Did you see it?
I saw it, and it.
Could you confirm?
It's
that?
one of. I can't. My brother could because he's deaf and he reads lips. He could tell me exactly what he said, which used to come in handy when a Major League Baseball argument broke out, and my brother would just start laughing, and I'd be like, "What did he say?" He's like, "Oh, I can't repeat it." But AJ Green, he looks frustrated, but he made a business decision on one of Joe Burrow's interceptions, and it was a terrible decision by Joe. He was under pressure. He tried to throw it away. He tried to throw it away over the middle, which that's not the place to throw it away. He threw it way over AJ's head. It was intercepted by Marcus Peters, and AJ just looked like all of a sudden he was, going to shadow Marcus Peters as far as Marcus Peters ran. He ran alongside him, but didn't make any attempt to tackle him, which when you're not producing, even if you're a 7-time Pro Bowler, Bengals fans are going to focus on that. And so it's trending toward ugly in Cincinnati, where Joe Burrow's had no problem forging a simpatico relationship with T. Higgins and with Tyler Boyd, and he just is not on the same page with AJ Green.
Yeah, I don't think he's for long, and he doesn't want to be there. I mean, it's evident he doesn't want to be there.
What is his trade value is like nil because of his injuries.
Yeah,
you're not getting a 2 for him.
No. I wouldn't give it to him.
No, of course not. I mean, if he's healthy, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if he's healthy or what his story. I think he's very frustrated just watching games and watching movements.
But neither Boyd nor Higgins are what A.J. Green could be, which is a deep threat. Now, maybe Burrow doesn't have a chance to throw it deep because he's under duress all the time. That I could see. But it's, he's...
Ravens are a good team.
Ravens are very good.
My Super Bowl
but, I mean,
team,
you're getting... Even you tell me, a bad NFL team, knowing you're playing the Ravens, you know what's coming. They're going to blitz you, okay? So don't you prep?
Especially a rookie quarterback.
Don't you prep all week for that? And they ran empty set after empty set in the backfield.
If you run empty set, then you got to get rid of the football.
Yeah.
There's blitz reads, and then if they're playing tight press man, I didn't see the game. I'll watch it this week. If they're playing tight press man, meaning the defenders, for those that don't speak football language but are a fan of it, tight press man is when a defender is right on the line of scrimmage on the guy that he's covering to go out for a pass. So there's either blitz reads versus zone blitz where the receiver and quarterback have to be on the same page, There's blitz reads when there's man press coverage when the receiver and quarterback have to be on the same page, and then your receivers have to be able to win their individual one-on-one battles. And if they don't, it's over. You're done. That's just the way it is. And that's why when you get down inside the 20-yard line, you see so many teams blitz, right? Because you force the quarterback to make a quick decision. And Bruce, you being around a long time and being around me a long time, I always talk about the 12th defender that you pick up, and that's that back line of the end zone.
Yeah.
So
Bengals 27-3. They have the Colts. The Colts were very impressive against the Browns' rushing attack. It does not have Nick Chubb at the moment. He's out for about 6 weeks. They still have Kareem Hunt, and the Browns couldn't run it, and it looked like they knew they couldn't run it, given the Colts' look, and so they just put it on Baker Mayfield early. He got the ball out. He had a really good first half, 19 of 28, 2 touchdowns, and then the Colts got to him in the second half, but it really came down to Baker Mayfield didn't make the kinds of mistakes. He made mistakes, but he didn't make the kinds of mistakes Phillip Rivers made with a pick six and an intentional grounding from the end zone, which the Colts had come back, had gotten right in the game, had the ball, chance to drive down and go, and Phillip Rivers Myles Garrett rushed him and he panicked.
Myles Garrett's just playing off the charts.
Yeah, he is.
By the way. Their defense picked up the offense in the second half.
It did,
yesterday.
right? It did.
And that's what it takes, right? Because eventually somebody's going to make plays on you, and there's one side of the ball or special teams or whatever that's going to have to step up and contribute, because there's going to be times where you're not going to dominate the whole game.
Yeah, the defense picked up not just the offense, but the special teams.
Giants.
Special teams gave up a kickoff return touchdown, which that's usually you get one of those, you win the game. But the Colts did not win because it came down to 3rd and 9, 2:30 to go, and the Browns had not run it well. They hand it off to Dearness Johnson. He goes into the line, he gets hit, he bounces it outside, and he runs for 28 yards. Yeah. And then that's the game, pretty much. The Browns go down, kick a field goal with like 20 seconds left to get up 2 scores. I don't think Phillip Rivers could have driven the Colts down the field to score a touchdown, down 29-23 in the last 2 minutes. He just didn't look to me like he had that in him.
Yeah, there's no Russell Wilson.
So I'll be interested to see what you know me, I've always been a big Phillip Rivers fan, but the pick six was horrible.
Yeah,
and they got Jacoby Brissett. I kind of think Jacoby Brissett, he's not a star, but I think he's got more arm than Rivers.
He might have more arm, but I've watched some Colts games, and Phillip Rivers has looked pretty good.
Okay.
But
they're 3-2 now.
He does have how about this word, propensity for interceptions or making stupid throws.
Yeah, he does.
So that's my Bruce Hooley school.
There you go.
Dictionary.
Nice.
You're welcome, sir.
Browns are 4-1 for the first time since 94. 95 is when they left Cleveland.
Yeah.
They won a playoff game in 94.
I'm on.
11-5.
I forgot to find a new team. I renounce.
You renounce the Vikings?
I renounce the Vikings.
Shunning the Vikings?
because they renounced me. Because they break my heart. It kills me. I didn't sleep last night. You think I'd be over this?
I will tell people, this is no joke. Just in football terms, I have never seen you as upset about anything in football as you are when the Vikings are on the cusp of doing something great, transformative. The lost Brett Favre's interception that kept him out of the Super Bowl.
Coming out of the timeout with 12 men.
And the field goal yak.
Blair Walsh
against
Seattle.
Because you want to see your brother
that's
cheat.
The thing.
Yeah.
It's brutal. That's the problem. I think I could handle being a fan if I didn't have an emotional investment with a family member.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's just it's not working, Rick. Once you get a new line of work, so I don't have to suffer.
So the Steelers Sunday against the Browns. Steelers are 4-0. Is it Chase Claypool, kid from Notre Dame?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns
Number
receiving,
11,
1
right?
rushing. Yeah. They always seem to find young receivers. They do a really good job with receivers.
Really good GM there.
Yeah. Clemson, Saturday night. Did you catch any of that? Clemson, Miami, 42-17. Man, did they look good. They look really good. Miami's not bad. I mean, it's one of those games where you watch and you think, okay, Miami's probably way overrated. I don't think Miami's way overrated. I think Miami's a top 10 team.
Good, right?
Clemson's that good. Yeah, they are. And it's going to be interesting in the ACC because Notre Dame and North Carolina are good teams. I don't know how good, but they're both good teams. They're top 15 teams. And Clemson will have to play them both.
So we know through history, because you and I both study history, we know that there's a term out there, Clemsoning, right? Is there not?
There used to be. I'm not sure there is now.
But there used to be.
Used to be like the Browns. They find a way to lose.
And like the Ohio State Buckeyes, either via Iowa or Purdue, where there's just that one game.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? This is not what we're used to seeing. But they're pretty good. They're experienced. Dabo does a great job. I mean, people can criticize Dabo all they want. He's a great football coach, and his young guys believe in him. And he's a really good leader, and they play well, and he understands the value of quarterbacks and being able to get that guy. First of all, see Deshaun Watson, and you see Trevor Lawrence. Remember, he made the tough decision to start Trevor Lawrence as a true freshman.
Yeah.
Another guy ended up transferring. I forget his name.
Kelly Bryant.
Kelly, yeah, transferring. Kelly was a good player.
He was.
Just not
Got
good
him to
enough.
the playoffs.
Yeah. But not good enough, right?
I assume that David and the Bowden family are referring to you, not to me here. Great football knowledge from Mr. Football.
Oh, thank you, David.
His stellar career at Massillon predated the actual awarding of the Mr. Football, or I'm sure you would have won it in the state of Ohio. Let me remind you folks about Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. They are an awesome company because they do great things around the world and because they bring you great coffee. Spiels, would you have your Hunter's blend this morning?
Nicaraguan blend.
Nicaraguan blend this morning. That gets us into the fact that they buy their coffee direct from growers around the world. Nicaragua, Thailand, Indonesia. They do great things. They pump money into the local economy. That money gets recycled. You get great coffee, and they fulfill their ministry obligations. Not obligations, but calling, I should say.
There you go.
So, give them a call via the web, hemispherecoffeeroasters.com, hemispherecoffeeroasters.com. Use the promo code WeTackleLife in all caps. You'll get 15% off and fantastic coffee, light, medium, dark roast. You can grind the beans yourself if you like, or you can have them roast it for you and vacuum seal it, or get it in K-cups, which is Mr. Spielman's preferred method.
It is. It's much easier. It's just, and there's not a whole mess because I'm just terrible and clumsy. And if I get the grounds, they're like end up on the floor and in the counter, and then they somehow ends up in my food or on my hands or in my clothes, and I smell like rotten coffee all day. Not that Hemisphere is rotten coffee.
My daughter likes it when I pick up coffee for friends of mine. She leaves the coffee in her room, even in the vacuum sealed bags, because she said it just smells so good in there. Coffee smells
Maybe
great.
she can use it on her eyes to get a new door.
To
Get rid of the putrid color.
Yeah, I'll pass that along. Grandma claims she likes the door color. I think Grandma is.
That's just Grandma's being Grandma.
You know, there are white lies and there are Grandma lies. White lies are ones where you don't want to say something that'll hurt somebody. Grandma lies are lies where she doesn't want to hurt her grandchildren. So she claims she likes the door, but I don't think she does.
Grandma, the perfect grandma in grandma behavior is Marie Barone. Now, you don't know who that is, but Marie.
I do. That's right. That's right.
Everybody loves Raymond.
That's right. Everybody loves Raymond.
That's how my grandmother was. I could never do wrong in either of their eyes, right? It was always.
Can you imagine what Ray Barone's father would say about that front door? I cannot.
Hey, I have to ask you. You mentioned about a calling. Have you been able to, on your radio show, being able to inject your faith-based portion of you into that show?
Yeah, I think that is where, now that you mention that, that's really helpful. I told you when we started that I don't feel like I've found the right rhythm yet.
Yeah.
That's probably the rhythm I'm trying to find. Here's the thing. 98.9 FM, my show airs 5 to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, is owned by Salem Media, which is a Christian-owned company. But
a lot of radio stations.
They own a lot of radio stations nationwide. There are two more in the building that they own, 95.9 The Fish, which is a Christian music station, and 880 AM WRFD, where they'll, throughout the day, like right now it's 7 o'clock, I don't know who they have on at 7, but they'll have, I think it's J. Vernon McGee now, and then Chuck Swindoll, and Charles Stanley, and they have Family Life Today. So they have a lot of Christian programs that are about a half hour long. And then at 3:30 in the afternoon, they have a gentleman by the name of Bob Burney, and Bob does a show for 2.5 hours live. Now, Bob, it's a Christian talk station, so Bob can't. Bob, I've not been told I can't do it. I could do it if I wanted to. I just feel like Bob is servicing that element. If you want to have the Bible and scriptural principles applied to every topic, our Salem media stations in Columbus have a show for that.
Right.
My station will have at this hour Hugh Hewitt, then Mike Gallagher, then Charlie Kirk from noon to 1, Dennis Prager from 1 to 3, Dr. Seb Gorka from 3 to 5. That talk is, Gallagher will share his faith on the air occasionally. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find the right mix of injecting faith into my discussions about current events, because I can't presume that everyone who listens is a believer and will want to hear that prism applied to everything. But it's impossible for me to discuss some current social issues without explaining my faith, because my faith is the lens through which I view everything and filter my thoughts.
Okay, I want to give you a suggestion.
Okay.
And what I would do if I were in your situation. Because you're not going to interject your faith throughout the whole show. Nor should you, because I don't think it's...
I have shared that on the air, by the way. In the first segment I did last Monday.
I listened to you, yes. I support you.
Thank you.
I'm like,
you didn't call in, I noticed, but that's neither here nor there.
I got another job to work myself out of debt for paying the new garage door.
Yeah, you're about halfway there.
But listen to my suggestion.
Okay.
I suggest throughout the show that you just one simple thing, and either it's going whenever most people are listening. So I imagine that would probably be around, I don't know, just if normal drive time would be 5:30.
I'm gonna say 5:25, and probably just after the 6 o'clock hour.
I would just do a verse of the day.
I thought about doing at the end of every hour a wisdom for the day. So could be from the Bible, or it could be something that someone wise said.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I think you should do that.
Okay. I've been thinking about that.
Because I think at least it's either at the start or at the end of a segment or at the end of the show, but at least it gives people something to ponder or think of.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going from experience, I think, from our podcast where, people enjoy whatever verse that we said or say or talk about in a certain segment. Now we go into it just a tad deeper and we share personal experiences of how that verse works, but we'll see. I have had a very interesting experience. I think this is important, so I want to get into this now, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine. So the faith portion of the podcast, we do it at the end of every podcast. So if you're not of a faith mindset, you should know what's coming. We hope you'll listen. And this is who we are all the time, and we don't always share about it when we talk sports, but we do at the end of every podcast.
I work with somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say who this person is because there's a lot of people on our crew. And they know that every Saturday night, they know that I'm looking to go to a church, and this person comes up to me, not embarrassed, but timid-like.
Mm-hmm.
And they ask her, "You going to church tonight?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "What's going on?" And this person says, "I need you to pray for this family member," and this person doesn't have a faith. But I just found it compelling and humbling that this person doesn't have a very strong faith, or might be agnostic, or might be just, I know there's some greater being out there.
Or just in case it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and, instead of like hammering that person with, you accept God right now, or, with the fire and brimstone, I just smiled at the person and said, "Of course I will, but only if you give me as many details as you feel comfortable to share." And so I go, and in the Catholic Church you can light candles, but it's time reflection and all that. And it's they're all looking for donations all the time, so you pay ship a few bucks in the slot there and light a candle, and so I honored my obligation, but I felt so useful and humbled, and that somebody saw in me the confidence to ask me to pray for one of their family members. And I just think that is one of the coolest things that can happen to us, without, and it's the perfect example of what we're trying to achieve by exposing who we are and what we believe, but never imposing it. And there was another person on the crew, and this goes to, again, back to exposing. Like, when I go to church, I carry this little book of prayers or whatever, and I'll carry a little rosary, and this other person, and I don't, not to all the meetings, but like if I'm going to the church, I'll drop it off at the meeting, because I usually come right from the meeting to the church, or I come right home, or right to the meeting, leaving church. And this person saw that, then asked me, do I go to church? And the following week, this person came up to me and said, I went to church this past weekend because you reminded me of who I was.
That's great.
So that's the thing that I want to encourage people, and I picked out this verse this morning for this particular moment, is that you're never going to know when God will use you. I don't know, and I might not know the results of what I was asked to do. I might not, if this person didn't feel comfortable coming up to me and said that I went to church, I went back to church because you did, or because I saw that you did, not because I did. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And so, when I read this morning, I thought, this has been my experience, right? I don't believe there are any accidents. I believe that I'm with these people at this time for this exact moment, for either me to be used or for them to lift me up in one way or another. And we've said this verse on the show before: behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in to him and dine with him, and he with me. And so I believe, are vessels and like messengers, right? I believe that we are messengers, apostles or disciples, more accurately. That, hey, he's knocking. And this is the perfect example of, by me just carrying a little Bible or a rosary from church to the meeting, this person realized that God was knocking at their door. Hey, come back home. It's okay. I'm not mad at you, right? I think that's the thing. People always get caught up in the lie that God's going to be angry at them, or why would I go to church? I haven't been there for years. I don't deserve to go. There's self-pity, which I do think is a satanic trick that is used, that's telling you that you are not loved, you are not worthy, you made too many mistakes, you turned your back on me for too long. Then you tell yourself, he'll never want me back. And I'm here to tell you that is lie upon lie upon lie. And Romans 8:38 explains that to us, and that's the verse for those of you listening at home, that nothing can separate you from the love of God. And I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but I know this is in it, that it's that the most compelling thing about that verse is that neither death nor life can separate you once
angels,
God loves you. Demons, death,
principalities, kings, whatever.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing
above or below, it says.
And so humble yourself, and all of you are worthy. And even if you even if you are angry, just by acknowledging, and you know there's God, and you're angry at God, just by acknowledging God, He's not going away. He's not. He can't. It's not His nature to abandon. He will not abandon you. He's never abandoned you. You might feel like it. Even Jesus felt like He was abandoned.
That is the thing that just amazes me so much when I contemplate the character of God, and His essence is love. And it took me a while to understand and come to grips with the fact that, you talk about people wouldn't go back to church because they haven't been in a while, so they're uncomfortable. And that's how we conduct ourselves in human relationships. I do something to get me out of relationship with a person, so the interaction is fractured. It's weird. It's, whether it's a quarrel with your family or your spouse or whatever, it's like fractured. And you can have a fractured relationship with God, but we're always the ones who magnify that to the point where we feel we can't go back. His unfathomable patience with us.
Yeah,
and
that's
believe me, I've made Him wait on me. I've made him wait on me for 30 plus years at the start of my life.
I want to ask you to build on that for a second, because when I look at you, or people that know you or listen to you over all these years, right? Over all these years, would say Bruce Hooley's faith is amazing.
I don't know.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
See, but that's what people think. But for you to share that you have felt like God. I don't know if I felt like God's. I never felt that there isn't a God, but I felt like, God, well, you're not hearing me. You're abandoning me. I'm right here. I know you're there. What are you doing?
For the first 30-some years of my life, there were many times I had a great desire to connect with Him, and I just felt like a plug that didn't fit in the wall. Like I just couldn't connect. I thought there has to be more than this, and there was more than that.
Right.
My failure to connect was tied to my own misunderstanding of I have to be good before He'll connect with me. And then when I finally really dug into the Bible and read that when He hung on the cross and said, "It is finished," that meant He's done everything necessary for me to be acceptable in God's sight. And all I have to do is receive. I don't have to do. Now, once I receive, I'm so blown away by the fact that I'm given that, that I want to change my life. I want to thank Him. But there were times after that period where I went cold, dormant, dead, for long periods of time. And always in those periods of time, I got distracted. I got preoccupied. I'm doing life. I'm getting up early in the morning. I'm doing this, and I'm trying to make a living. And it wasn't that any point in there I never doubted. I never was like, I don't want that. Right. It was just like I didn't prioritize time with Him. And what happens when you don't connect with someone? Your relationship suffers. But I came to realize here in the last 2 years that God's love for me never changes. It doesn't. Like the connection to Him that I feel changes because I don't devote, in those periods where I'm dead and dormant, I don't devote myself to connecting with Him. So I feel like He doesn't love me. He still loves me. It's that I don't feel that connection. And I would say the same to people who haven't accepted Christ as their Savior. That's the amazing thing to me is God's not waiting for you to come to Him to love you. He loves you right now as much as He can. And He's just waiting for you. That's the verse Chris shared. I stand at the door and knock. Mm-hmm. He's waiting for you to invite Him in. His very essence with every single person in the universe is He loves them as much as He can possibly love them. And He's waiting for you to come to Him. I always say God's a gentleman. He waits for you to invite Him into your life. And when you do, I will come in, eat with Him. And that's a metaphor for we'll have fellowship together. We'll have a connection. We'll have a relationship. We'll talk like old friends.
It's interesting that you said when I think about that, like when he said it is finished. And what really snapped me out of it and humbled me to no end was when my friend Dave Pash, aforementioned by the way, when I wouldn't forgive myself. Right? I know there's listeners out there that aren't forgiving themselves, or feel like they don't deserve anything, or feel like they're not good enough, so they say, the heck with it, I'm just going to continue down this road.
Well, that's right. We don't deserve it, but we're given it.
Right. Then, and I've shared this with you, and this is probably the most powerful thing that somebody said to me, and it's very simple. He said, you know, the ego on you is amazing. I go, well, what are you talking about? And I know I've shared this with you many times, but somebody might be hearing this for the first time.
Yeah.
That apparently Jesus dying on the cross isn't good enough for you. All you do is you keep grabbing the hammer and nails and you keep nailing them to the cross. He already told you it's done. It's finished. Either you believe that or you don't believe it. And stop crucifying him. He already did it, but you just keep wanting to crucify him. And man, did that hit home.
That's a powerful.
It is. Yeah. It is. And so I'm asking all you, hey, it's okay, man. You don't have to keep hammering him to the cross. You're good.
Yeah.
In closing, I've been checking my phone all day yesterday and all day last night and this morning, and not a word from my very dear friend Bruce Hooley on my birthday yesterday. But hey, I am the kingmaker, and the king can't be bothered with his lowly peasants.
I did not know that yesterday was your birthday until late last night when somebody on a Buckeye site wished you happy birthday.
Oh, hey, it's all right, man.
And I tried to share that with all the people who follow
I don't keep score.
I know you don't. Love keeps no record of wrongs. But
once again,
Spiels is about 50% of the way to paying for that garage door.
But once again, I get no love from you.
Happy birthday to the four-time Pro Bowler, College Football Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Fame nominee.
Thank you.
Fox NFL analyst, and all-around great guy. Yes, and co-author. Absolutely. I forgot to tell you about Stan and the people at Willis Spangler Starling. Remember their name. WillisAttorneys.com. They're great people. You guys are great for listening to us. Hope you got a laugh and some good information and some inspiration out of today's podcast. We love doing it with you and for you. So have a great day. We'll talk to you Wednesday.